Hey, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today I have Alicia Stingley, founder and CEO of Financial Formation. Welcome.
Thank you, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. We have a mutual friend in Clarine. I appreciate her putting us in touch.
Yes, awesome. She's an awesome resource.
Absolutely, you bet. Hey, so if you would, tell me a little bit about your background. And you've had a somewhat circuitous route to your current position in
Mhm.
company. Could you share a little bit about your background, please?
Sure. Well, I have over 17 years in financial services total. I've also been in HR, but I started out years ago as a personal banker. Then I went on to get my master's in HR and my master's in finance. From there, I became a financial educator. I was recruited for that position, wasn't something I knew was a job. And so I started that and then was recruited also to be a financial advisor. From that work, I realized that, there were a lot of people who not only, weren't really well versed in how to manage their money or invest their money, but a lot of people just really needed the basics. And so I started my own company, Financial Formation, to coach people on how to make money, manage money, and to multiply their money. So that's kind of how I came to roundabout way, came to be a financial coach.
Yeah, fantastic. And I've spent a little bit of time on your website, and I was impressed in that you've got a pretty broad base of services that you offer to folks. Coaching, training, courses, personal, training, that sort of thing. Could you talk a little bit about the way that you typically work with clients and who your primary clients are?
Sure. I have a business to consumer side that I work with women, primarily Generation X women. I've kind of gone through a lot because that's me, myself. And so I have a burden and a passion to help that particular group of women. So that's primarily who I work with on my one-on-one coaching, my group coaching, and it's primarily who my courses are geared towards. I also have a business to business side where I do corporate wellness.
Ah.
And so my target market in that sense are those smaller employers whose employees may need some help with debt and credit and managing their money as well. And they're kind of underserved in that market. And so that's the other side. And I do speaking as well.
I saw that. I saw that. I take it that at this point, I've talked with some other folks who are active speakers. I take it that your in-person engagements are at least put on the shelf at this point for a period of time. Are you still doing some virtual speaking engagements?
Yes, I've been asked quite a bit. I did something yesterday I've become a financial advisor. That's another part. Someone else, kind of I'm doing that independently. So I do that every other week. I spoke last week. So yeah, at least twice, sometimes 3 times a week, I've been having virtual speaking engagements.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, so Alicia, I'm curious, and not only with your clients, but for folks in general, since we've all been, placed under these stay-at-home orders and life has been kind of turned upside down for a lot of us, what sort of challenges are you seeing folks face financially, and possibly what sort of misconceptions, what sort of mistakes are people falling into during this time?
Yeah, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people, were caught off guard and not having that reserve and savings that we all hear about, right? You never think it's going to happen to you. Well, it's happened to pretty much everybody. And I'm also seeing that a lot of people just didn't have that reserves and they didn't have necessarily another stream of income. And I've come to realize that it is important to have several streams of income. If you just have one stream of income that depends on you, if something happens to you or something happens to that stream of income, then you have nothing. And so that's a problem that I'm seeing. And so I've been really determined over, the past month and the upcoming months to really help people learn how to make additional income streams as well as investing. And that to that point, that's another mistake I've seen people making when the market downturns and the economy goes down, is that they're taking their money out of the market. And that's exactly the opposite of what you want to do when the market is down. So that's something else I'm finding, just a few of the mistakes that I see that people are making that, I'm kind of determined to help them with that.
Yeah, I guess it's hard for all of us, especially those of us not trained in financial services or planning to really keep a calm attitude and a steady head during this time, because all of a sudden all of this is thrown at us. And I think it's fairly common for folks to panic a little bit and probably make decisions that aren't really in their long-term best interest.
Exactly, because money is very emotional. And this time is very emotional. And yes, and that's how people tend to make mistakes with their money, especially in the stock market too, is when they're being emotional. And so I've, cautioned people to, really to calm down, and also when we're emotional, we're kind of thinking or not thinking so much with this part of our brain, that part
Sure.
that's survival, that's stress, right? The cortisol is that fight, flight, or freeze and confusion. And, it takes some conscious effort to kind of move your thinking to the front part of your brain where it's rational and, that brain that's clear and can make some decisions. And it really takes a conscious effort to do that. So to really be calm and seek some help if you need that as well.
Yeah, terrific. And Alicia, I'm curious if there are one or two bits of advice that you would give folks, not only during this time, but folks, again, looking at your website, it seems like you work with a lot of folks who really likely have enough money, but maybe they're just not managing it. Maybe they're not seeing the real value in that. If there are one or two bits of advice that you would give folks, what might that be?
Um, I would say, kind of really assess your financial situation clearly. Look at what you have in all of your accounts, your checking, your savings, your retirement accounts, if you have an emergency fund, brokerage accounts, anything just to get a clear understanding of where you are. In case what reserves you have, what options do you have, an option for an equity loan or whatnot? What are all of your financial resources you could come up with if you needed to? And then assess your expenses and your spending and do what I call analyze every expense according to the PERK approach, which is what you can postpone, eliminate, reduce, or what you have to keep just as it is. Contact your creditors if you need some assistance with that. A big mistake that I'm seeing people make is if they're putting off paying their mortgage, for example, that they don't understand that some lenders are requiring the full 3 months at the end of the 3 months. Some are tacking it on to the end of the loan, and some require you to do a full loan modification. So those types of things. Same thing with your credit cards. If you're deferring a payment, is it deferred for a few months and you're just going to have to pick it up, or are they allowing you to skip it? So those types of things. Look at your resources and really understand what you're getting into.
Yeah, terrific advice. I appreciate that. So, as we're wrapping up here a bit, on a personal basis, have there been any surprises? Has there been anything that you've stepped back and said, you know what? I wasn't real excited about this whole stay-at-home thing, but this has really turned out to be okay. Anything like that for you?
Yeah, it is because I'm really able to provide a lot of value to people. And I'm really seeing that some people are truly growing through this situation and not just going through it, but they're determined to come out better and get their finances in order for this, through this time. And I've just really been encouraged by the people that I see that don't have that feeling of despair, but it's truly turning this time of, obstacles, so to speak, into opportunities. And I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, fantastic. I've heard many folks talk about that, and that's been encouraging for me. So, well, hey, Alicia, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time to visit with us today.
Thank you so much, Tim, for asking me. Appreciate it.